Well, I think first I should introduce myself. I'm Dave Sentner. I'm the president and board managers of the Clarion County branch of the YMCA. And it's really my pleasure to introduce our new program director. The Y's program director not only runs the day-to-day operation of this facility, but more importantly, they really are the cornerstone of the Clarion County community. And we are really excited to have this fine gentleman next to me, Jesse, as our new program director. And his past experiences at the Grove City YMCA as a coach at Clarion University, and most recently as a member of the staff of the National Championship Auburn football team, is going to build a foundation for the continued future growth of our YMCA branch. So Jesse, welcome to the community and welcome to the Y.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. My first day on the job was 2 weeks ago, Monday, January 17th. And from that day to now, it's been a process of learning and asking questions and watching, just seeing how the facility operates. And I'm sure there's going to be some crossovers between my career as a coach and now transitioning to being a director and learning all the administrative roles that I'm learning about. But to be a part of the Y, talk a little bit about that. The experience I had with the YMCA when I was in undergrad at Slippery Rock University. I worked part-time for 2 years at the Grove City YMCA and just had a blast interacting with members. My primary role there was as a fitness specialist, so I did a lot of floor orientations and had a lot of direct contact with the members of the fitness facility. But it was soon I was asked to do a lot of other things, such as teaching microsports to 3- and 4-year-olds, whether it was t-ball, basketball, things like that, to, hey, Jesse, we need you to fill in we need a referee for adult league volleyball. So I had a hand in a lot of things, whatever the Y needed me to do. I kind of was a utility guy for the YMCA, but my career was always to pursue strength and conditioning as a profession, and I worked at the YMCA, like I said, there part-time, but soon after college I accepted a lot of internships, always preparing myself to break into the collegiate ranks as a strength and conditioning coach. Well, preceding my trip to Colorado, I was finishing my graduate, so my master's degree at Slippery Rock University, and had just gotten done with that. Actually, I left about 6 credits shy because I took an internship through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. You write an essay in and they choose, I think, 2 candidates, and I was one of the candidates, and they hook you up with a supervised mentor in the strength and conditioning community through the program. And I chose to be with Alan Hedrick at the United States Air Force Academy. I heard Coach Hedrick speak on numerous occasions, so I went out to Colorado for it was a 12-month internship, and while I was out there, I finished my master's degree online through Slippery Rock University, and I started applying to jobs throughout that time. And I had been there about 8 months, and I really wasn't getting any interviews for an assistant strength coach position at any colleges or universities that I applied for. And then I got a call from Jay Foster, and Coach Foster was my defensive coordinator at Slippery Rock University, who I played for. Well, he had just accepted the head coaching position at Clarion University, and asked me if I would be interested in coming back to Western Pennsylvania and working for him, being his strength and conditioning coach, but also coaching a position that would be defensive line. So I accepted the position, and at that time it was like a restricted earnings role. So I was okay with that because it was a lot more money than I was making in Colorado. So, and I was kind of seeing the process by which it was going to take to get an assistant strength and conditioning position in Division I athletics. It was going to be tough. You were going to have to establish a lot of contacts. So, I love Coach Foster. I came back. I worked for him for 3 years here in Clarion, and that was part of a huge rebuilding campaign here within the university's football team. We played a ton of freshmen our first couple of years, and we took some lumps, but got to work with those kids, got some recruiting experience under my belt, and most importantly, I was able to continue my strength and conditioning experience, but also coach football at the same time. And in the early parts of that, it was great, but towards the end of the 2008 season, I found myself just so passionate about the strength and conditioning part of it. I still love coaching football, but I felt that I wasn't able to do both very well as I wanted to do it. And at the same time, I had finally gotten a full-time position in terms of benefits and that kind of thing. I had just become full-time. That was my first season in 2008, working as a full-time coach, so that was a tremendous relief. But at the same time, I was also helping other teams within the athletic department, writing programs and supervising some weight workouts for some other sports. And in the end, I think I was kind of stretched beyond my limits, and I felt that I could be doing a much better job if I just chose one as a career. So I did that, and actually sent a resume down to Auburn University, who I had already interned for Coach Kevin Yoxall, the strength and conditioning coach down there, in the summer of 2005. So he contacted me back, said he had a graduate assistantship position open, which would be, in my case, a paid internship because I had already completed my master's degree. And I accepted it, and I took that in January of 2009. And I went down there for the 2009 season and into 2010. This whole time, my now fiance and I, at that time she was my girlfriend, but I had left Clarion, and we met here at Clarion. She was a swimmer here, Bree Huebner is her name, and that's kind of how we met. And I left here and didn't know if that was going to work out. I hoped that it would, but I knew it would be a lot of hard work. So we were long distance for a year and a half, and she continued to coach swimming as her career, and she had just gotten out of working at the YMCA and pursued coaching in college. She was at Duquesne University. So while I was down in Alabama at Auburn University, she was in Pittsburgh at Duquesne University, and we were both coaching and doing the best we could to see each other. We'd buy plane tickets when we could. We didn't have a lot of money. Finally, she just couldn't take it anymore. And she decided to, I need to be with you. And she left Duquesne University and arrived down in Auburn in, I believe, early summer of 2010, this past year. And she got a job working at a restaurant there in Auburn, and I was still interning in the strength and conditioning department for the football team, and we were doing our best to make ends meet. And after about 3 months, this job kept coming open where they couldn't find anybody to fill this position here at the university for this assistant swim coach position. And watching my fiance having to get out of coaching and now working at a restaurant, me being the one. I had invested a lot of time in my career and everything like that, and the plan was to follow me once I got a job. She made a tremendous sacrifice on her end to come down there, and it was a couple months prior to that I asked her to marry me, because I didn't want her coming all the way down there, following her boyfriend. How do I explain that to her family? So we got engaged. She made the move, but this job just seemed like it was meant to be hers. And I saw how much she missed coaching, and I could understand it, because what would I do if I wasn't coaching anymore, So I wanted her to be happy, bottom line is. So I told her to apply for it, and, I knew if she applied for it, she would probably get the job, because she swam here. She had a great relationship with everybody here. She was a hard worker when she was here. She was a good swimmer, and she has had successful coaching experience in the past. So she came up here and interviewed. Sure enough, she got the job, and she left Auburn in August to come up here for the fall semester in 2010. And at that point, I told my head coach there, like, I'm gonna follow her, and I'm gonna start looking for jobs as soon as possible. Well, that continued all the way through our football season, which we just happened to win week by week. We just kept winning and winning and winning. And I was like, honey, I'm going to stay here if we keep winning, and then I'll hopefully find a job in early January, which we kept doing. We had a great season there. It was great to be a part of that. And I still didn't have any leads in terms of what I was going to do as a career up here. It was getting down to the wire. And I remember just going out on a limb and contacting Dory Foster, who I worked for at Grove City, and talked to her. And she actually didn't have any positions available, but she did tell me about the Clarion County YMCA was looking for a director. So I forwarded my application to Tom Spence there at Old City, and was lucky enough to get an interview, and then came and did well enough on the interview to get the job offer here as a director. And I didn't necessarily know exactly how to do the job, but one thing that's never let me down in my past has just been my work ethic. So that's kind of what I've brought to the Clarion County YMCA, and hopefully by staying persistent in that, I'll figure out everything I have to do here and be a great director for the YMCA.
Questions for Jesse? Or
Whenever you were talking about whenever you're getting comfortable around here, you gonna ever think maybe to volunteer, help out the Clarion University football team at all, like help them out, strength conditioning?
Would that be something I would be
Yeah,
interested
would that be
in?
something that, like, once you get comfortable here, is that something maybe like a little side job or something?
I think the YMCA stands for volunteering. I mean, it doesn't work without volunteers here in the community. And I have spoken with Coach Foster. He knows I'm back into town, and we've spoken about that. But I told him it's going to be a while, before I can even think about doing anything other than my job here at the YMCA. But to answer your question, I would be interested in volunteering, whatever I could be of service. He was one of the first people that helped me find a place to play football in college, and I owe a lot to Jay Foster, and I owe a lot to Dory Foster, his wife, at the Grove City YMCA. So I would like to do that, but priority right now is to figure out how to do this job, number one. But yeah, I think the YMCA, I think I would be a good example if I led in the community and got out and volunteered for things, and I think that's the way you lead, is set good examples. So that's what I'm going to try to do.
Once in a while, Mike would actually coach some of the youth teams. There's a lot of youth teams. Any difference in approach coaching young kids as opposed to college athletes?
Wow. Yeah, there's no egos normally at that age. That's been a great relief. But yeah, I think at the smaller ages you have such he has such an impact to make on their lives, and I enjoy that. I really do. Sometimes, by the time we got athletes at the college level, it's very tough to change behavior patterns that have been ingrained for 18 years, 19 years. So, and I always wondered, what would it be like to get to these kids earlier and set better examples and set the foundation for caring, honesty, just, the YMCA's core values, caring, honesty, respect, and responsibility, those type of things. I look forward to being able to promote that here with a smaller age group and try to set good examples for them to live by. So I'm looking forward to the change. But yes, it is different, but it's nice.
Any difference in dealing with parents at the different levels?
Well, at the college level, you didn't, and that's something I'm going to have to definitely learn here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always concerned about that. But at the college level, yeah, you don't have much interaction with the parents, but that's something that I'm going to have a lot of interaction with the parents. I feel God has worked in my life in a way that the things that I need to improve on, I think He puts those things in front of me, not as stumbling blocks, but just opportunities for growth. And so I could be nervous or I could be scared of those things, but I know I'm gonna deal with that. And right now, it's kind of intimidating looking how Mike does so well with handling 3rd and 4th grade basketball. I mean, just watching him on Saturday was amazing. And I know I have a different style, and I know I'll settle into whatever that is. But I think that's something that I can't stress out about trying to be Mike or trying to do it just like Mike. And even Mike told me, you're gonna do this your own way, and eventually I'll settle into that. But yeah, learning to listen to members and listen to parents and find a fine line in there is all people management skills, and those are all things that I'm going to get better at.
You feel that fundraising is a big part of this job?
Yes, I do, and I'm learning how do you approach fundraising, what's my role in fundraising, and literally there's things about this position that I haven't even scraped the surface at yet. But I know that to sustain our why, we absolutely, it's vital. I mean, it is it's our lifeline here. So whatever I have to do to help the board, whatever I need to do, I'm going to get out and get my hands dirty and get it done. And I think, my career as a coach and doing some recruiting here when I was a football coach, I mean, recruiting is about building relationships, building trust, and that kind of thing. That got me a lot more comfortable with speaking to people, talking to parents, and obviously talking to kids. But fundraising is of vital importance, and whatever I have to do to ensure that our lifeline stays intact and we're able to keep progressing, I'm going to do that 100%.
Did you get a ring from Auburn?
I think so.
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything about it yet, but it'll be something nice to go into your jewelry box and reflect on another day. But definitely here and now, I want to earn a ring as a director of YMCA. I want to go out and I want to get this organization, long term. I'd like to have, and I'm sure Dave will agree, we'd like to have our own building, and we'd like to have our own facilities and serve the members of the community in the best way possible. And that would be my championship ring in this career. But it was a nice way. I mean, if I'm going to end my career as a coach, it was a nice way to go out.
Go out on top.
Yes, sir.
What are the biggest challenges you see here? Other than, finding out what to do.
For me, I think is getting things organized here at the YMCA. I'm a person that I have to be organized to really feel that I can be a productive worker. So a lot of it is going through a lot of stuff that's here and trying to find out what I need, what do we need. Second priority is, the first priority actually is to serve as obviously the manager in day-to-day operations, but we need to get our annual youth or annual Y Sustaining campaign up and running, and whatever roles I need to fill in that area. And obviously talk about fundraising, but that's number one priority for me, for us. But I think increase the service value here of our members, and try to, when our members come in this door, helping them feel that they're getting knock your socks off service. I mean, I want to have the best service that we can possibly have at the YMCA, whether we're in this building, wherever we're at right now as an organization. I want to improve on that, but I want to, at number one, I want our members to feel appreciated, respected, cared about, and I want to give them the best possible service that they could ask for.